Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, you are welcome. My name is Anita Phone, and if you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified each and every time I upload a new tutorial to my channel. If you're old member, you are welcome back. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you on how to cut an elastic waistband palazzo pant step by step. So if you want to know how I'll be going about it, keep on watching. First thing I did was to go ahead and fold my fabric right side facing each other, and when I was folding it, I make sure that wherever I have is 1/4 of my hip measurement plus 3 inch. The next thing I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and draw a straight line, which is going to be my waistline. I'll be using a elastic band of 2.5 inch, so my measurement is going to start from that 2.5 inch downward. I'll place up my tape like this. I'll measure from my waist to my hip dip, which is 8 inch, and mark it up. And from my waist to my crotch dip, how to get your crotch dip is you divide round your hip by 4. Mine is 38. 38 divided by 4 is going to give me 9.5. I'm going to go ahead, I will add 1.5 inch to it because this is not a fitting pan. After doing so, I will mark that up, and I'm going to connect it up with a straight line. Here I have my waistline, my hip dip line, my crotch dip line. Next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and divide my hip by 4. Round my hip is 38. 38 divided by 4 is going to give me 9.5 inch. I'll be adding 1 inch for the sewing allowance. Altogether is going to give me 10.5 inch. I will mark that up here. I'll also do the same thing here as well. I'll mark that 10.5 inch here. Remember, this is elastic waistband. It's not a fitting pan. Then I'll go ahead and connect it up like this. After doing so, what I'm going to do is I will take 1/4 of my hip. I will take 1/4 of my hip and divide it by 4. Whatever I have, I will use it for my crotch extension of the front. I will mark it up here like this. Then now I'm going to go ahead. I'll take my curve ruler. I'm going to connect it all the way to here like this. After connecting that up, remember we are working on a elastic band. It is not a fitting pan. If it is a fitting pan, you're going to use your waist measurement here. But in my own case, it's not a fitting pan. I'll just leave it up like this. Next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead now. I will mark up the length of my pan. The total length of my pan I'm working on is 41. I'll be adding 1.5 inch for the hemming allowance. I will mark that up all the way here. After marking it up, I'm going to go ahead and connect it up. Next thing I will do now is to come here. I will measure up whatever I have from here. I will minus 1 inch there. I will mark it up at the downer part, which is 13. 13 minus 1 inch is going to give me 12. I will just come here and mark that 12 inch here. After marking it up, I'm going to go ahead. I will connect it all the way to the upper part. I'll go ahead to cut it up, and I'll be using this front piece to cut up the back piece. When I'm cutting this top part, I will add 1/2 inch that I'll be using it to join the elastic band to it. So go ahead again and fold your fabric right side facing each other, and make sure that you have 1 inch at the side here, and then you're going to have about 2.5 inch here, and then at the top part you will leave about 1.5 inch. Next thing I will do now is to go ahead. I'll be adding up 1 inch here, Then I'll just come here and connect this hip deep line like that. Then I'll just go ahead, use my ruler to connect it up. After doing so, what I'm going to do is I will come to this top part. I'm going to extend it up as well. To this top part, if you're that like fuller behind, you're going to go ahead and add 2.5 inch. But if it's a smaller size, you can add 1.5 or 2 inch. Then I'll go ahead and connect it up all the way to here. After connecting that up, next thing I'm going to do is I'll come here, I'll extend the brush of the back. I'll go ahead and extend 1.5 inch, but if you're that fuller behind, go ahead and extend 2.5. For smaller size, use 1.5 inch, okay? Then I'll connect it up. Like this. After connecting that up, next thing I will do now is to come here. I'll be adding up 1 inch all the way to the downer part, and I'm going to do the same thing to the side seams as well. After marking that up, I'm going to go ahead and cut it up. Then I'll separate the side seams as well. I'll go ahead to pin up the crotch of the front. I'll also do the same thing, pin the crotch of the back as well. After doing so, I'm going to go ahead and open up my pieces, right side facing each other. I'm going to go ahead and pin the side seams. When I'm done pinning, I'll take it to the machine. I'm going to stitch 1/2 inch away. And when I'm done stitching, I'm going to zigzag that up. Now I'm going to go ahead now and set up my tension at 5, the width of my thread at 5, and then here the length at 4 to zigzag that on. So this is what it looked like after I've gone ahead to zigzag it. I'll go ahead now to join the inseams. When I'm done stitching that up, I will also zigzag it. When we are done doing so, the next thing I'm going to do is to measure up all the waist of my pant. Whatever I have, I'll cut my band at that measurement, which is 21.5. I'm going to go ahead, I'll be cutting my band at this measurement that I have here. This is my band that I've cut, which is 5 inch. Remember, the elastic I'm using is 2.5. You're going to cut your band at 5 inch, okay? Because we'll be folding it over like this and we'll be left with 2.5 inch. Go ahead and mark the center of your band. And when you're cutting up the elastic, this is where you're going to use your waist measurement. When you cut up your elastic, for example, mine is 28, I'll go ahead and minus 2 inch from there. Okay, you can minus 2 or 4 inch depending on how stretchy your elastic is. All right. After marking that center, what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and stitch all the way to that center. I'll just take my elastic. This elastic is round my waist minus 2 inch. Like I said, you can minus up to 4 inch depending on how stretchy your elastic is. Then I'll just place it right at that center. Look at what I did here. And I'm going to go ahead and stitch it up like this while leaving ½ inch at this end. See? So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open up our elastic like this. You see what I've just done there? Open it up like this. Then you're going to fold up your band like this. Then we're going to go ahead and stitch. Then now you need to use your zipper foot and stitch it up. When you're stitching, you have to pull the elastic towards you so that it will be able to fit in the band. Remember, the elastic is shorter than your band, all right? So you have to pull it towards you so that it should fit in that band. You see what I'm doing here, right? When I'm done doing so, this is what the elastic look like. As you can see, it's very, very beautiful. I'll just go ahead to mark the 4 centers of my elastic. Then I'll be joining it to the 4 center of my pants. Then now when you're stitching it, you have to be pulling it for the space that you have left to fit in it, okay? Make sure you pull it like we were doing when we were actually making the elastic. Pull this over so that the elastic band is going to fit to your pant. So this is what it looked like. You can go ahead and run 2 or 3 stitches on the band, okay, like you can see at the first videos, okay. That part is optional, that's why I did not show you. I'll go ahead and zigzag it. Then I'm going to hem the downer part. I'll just fold ½ inch and ½ inch inward. I'm done with this tutorial and I hope you find it helpful. If you do, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, like, comment and share. I hope to see you on my next DIY. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.